We open the scene with Chris, a documentary filmmaker with a fire in his belly for uncovering the truth. The narrator sets the stage with a peculiar and captivating event from Chris's childhood, his 7th birthday, to be exact. Chris himself steps into the spotlight, explaining to the camera the significance of this particular story. He transports us back to his younger years, painting a picture of a tense household. His parents were locked in a heated argument, and his mom, fueled by frustration, stormed out the door, vanishing without a single trace. Worried yet determined, his dad set off to find her. But instead of reuniting with his wife, he stumbled upon a strange light in the sky, a sight fortuitously captured by Chris's camera, almost like it was meant to be. Dad, convinced it was a spaceship from another world, believed it had whisked his wife away. This entire chain of events left an indelible mark on Chris, shaping him in ways he couldn't have foreseen. Fast forward to present day. Still haunted by the missing mom and the perplexing light, Chris embarks on a mission to unearth the truth. He ropes in his buddy Brent, likely just tagging along for the ride, and sets course for Roswell, a town synonymous with, you guessed it, UFO sightings. Once a sleepy, peaceful village, Roswell is now buzzing with believers in extraterrestrial life. They even have a showman named Bill who's built an entire alien extravaganza. A bit over the top, wouldn't you say, Chris? Chris encounters a woman peddling alien trinkets, depicting little green men causing mayhem. He gives her a side-eye that speaks volumes. Yeah, right? Not buying it for a second. Some folks there encourage him to keep an open mind, suggesting that reality might be stranger than fiction. But Chris remains unconvinced. When faced with someone claiming an alien encounter, Chris dismisses the story as a case of fabricated memories. His skepticism is evident throughout his journey, a constant undercurrent to his investigation. Chris doesn't believe some of the people he meets, and this upsets some of them. One guy named Bill even leaves because of it. Then, Chris hears about Emily Reed. This lady says aliens have been taking her on strange trips ever since she was 7 years old. Strangely, she forgets everything that happens each time. Chris thinks her story would be a great documentary. Even scarier, Emily's next birthday is in 2 days, which is exactly the same pattern as his mom's disappearance. Emily tells Chris that no matter where he goes, the aliens seem to find him. Chris wonders if his necklace has something to do with it. Even though he's heard Emily's story, he's still not sure if he believes her. On the way back, Chris sees weird lights following him. Suddenly, his car crashes into something strange. He gets out to look, but nothing seems familiar. This makes Chris start to question everything he thought he knew. Then, he sees a scary alien figure hiding in the bushes. Chris is scared and runs away with his friend Brent. When Brent looks at the footage they recorded, he sees the same alien figure everyone in town has been talking about. The next day, Chris tries to find out more about the aliens. He learns something strange. After Emily's last time being taken, they found a weird device inside her. People think it's alien and can erase people's memories, which might explain why Emily and others can't remember what happens to them. Chris wants to study the device, but they won't let him. He suggests Emily try a special therapy session to remember what happened during her abductions, but she says she already tried and it made her very sick. She couldn't remember anything after that, and they even told her where the device was put inside her. An audacious thought occurred to Chris, leading him to decide to steal the memory device. They successfully took the gadget during their escape. When Chris tried to examine it, the gadget gave him a strong electrical shock. The most surprising moment happens when he returns. The local guide informs him that he had been missing for over an hour. This revelation shocks them both. They immediately review the footage from their car-mounted cameras and are left dumbfounded. After 2 hours, they had parked the car and sat idle. Then, without any apparent reason, the car started moving and drove off. Chris is baffled by this and becomes even more determined to understand what happened. He decides to meet Emily the next day, which happens to be her birthday, and according to the theory, she will be abducted by aliens. Emily agrees to accept his help and plans to spend her birthday with some villagers, believing that he is the only one who can help her. This decision sets the stage for their journey, and Emily guides them to a mysterious location known as Anhui. Theories suggest that this place was constructed with the assistance of aliens, but the mystery behind it remains unresolved. Upon meeting the village chief, he learns about a ritual that could potentially prevent the alien from abducting Emily. This ritual is based on an agreement made by his ancestors with the aliens. As the time for the ritual approaches, they consume a juice made from a special herb, and the juice induces a peculiar feeling in all three of them. But Chris is affected the most. He begins to have visions of aliens, oddly shaped monuments, a sort of prison, and a force pulling him toward it. These visions are so intense that they feel like a horrifying dream to him, and upon emerging from his hypnotic state, he quickly records the details of his extraordinary encounter. This event marks the beginning of the film's narrative. As time goes on, he realizes a sobering truth. His attempt to ward off the extraterrestrial beings has been unsuccessful, and he is destined to be seized by them again. Happy birthday, Emily. Looks like that silly ritual didn't work. Chris, ever the genius, starts looking for a safe place to hide. A little late for that, though. Aliens swarm in and snatch him up. Chris wakes up confused. Turns out, all those alien stories were a big, fat lie. The creepy guide and Bill, that's his name, were behind it all. They'd kidnap folks, drug them with crazy stuff, and mess with their memories to make them think they were abducted. All for fame and fortune. What a scam. Remember all those times Chris saw aliens? Turns out it was just Bill playing tricks. He used to be a special effects guy. That explains the fancy illusions. Luckily, Chris spots an opening while Bill and his buddy are busy bragging. He escapes and finds himself lost near a weird building. Bill and his partner show up, ready to cause more trouble, but then, whoosh, colorful clouds appear out of nowhere. A giant spaceship pops out of the clouds and lands right on that weird building. Guess it was a landing pad after all. Bill freaks, grabs Emily, but Chris swoops in to save the day. Emily sees the spaceship, all shiny and made of glowy stuff. The aliens hook her up to a memory machine, and guess what? It shows her mom, who apparently died. The necklace Emily wears? Yep, her mom's. Looks like there's more to this story than Chris bargained for. Chris wakes up Emily, and they escape to find a way out of the world. Before they can make their next move, two aliens surround them. Chris, scared, asks them, "What do you want?" The aliens use the memory device to show Chris his past. The memories reveal a disturbing truth about his father. He used to abuse Chris and his mom. It also becomes clear that his dad had abducted his mother. The most shocking revelation is that Chris and his mom were also abducted by aliens, a fact he had forgotten. Chris declares that he is human, shaped by millions of years of evolution. At this phase in his life, he becomes firmly aware of his identity. He is always angry, which oddly leads him to the capacity to love. His actions aim to erase and distress human memories because he believes changing their past can change their future. He wants to change his own life using time travel, which is why he experiments on humans. By abducting Emily, he erases his traumatic memories of his mother, which explains why he doesn't remember his parents. Emily pleads with him to let them live their lives as they wish. Despite their circumstances, they are content. Realizing his own humanity, he decides to set them free. They eventually return to Earth, and Brent finds them while tracking the extraterrestrial spacecraft. This news spreads quickly through the media, disproving the alien kidnapping theory. Chris's true story is dismissed by everyone. The story moves forward, and in a funny twist, Brent drops the cake he is holding. The film ends with a close-up of the cake on the floor. By the end of the movie, it seems their lives have returned to normal, free from any alien disturbances, almost as if the alien encounters never happened.